Okay. Okay. Are we alive? Are we kicking? Are we breathing? Are we hydrated? Are we well rested? Are we prepared for victory? Are we prepared for glory? All right, everyone. Welcome to part 2 of our 6-month anniversary of daily streaming. I guess we got the intro out of the way as a separate video for posterity. But now we move on to the rest of stream. The remaining 2 hours and 40 minutes of a 3-hour stream. And so, before I begin, let me very quickly answer the questions I missed from the last stream. That way I can get us off on the right foot. So here we go. What was it? Dream Dancer? Was Dream Dancer your name? First and foremost, you are already a staff member of the SCP Foundation if you are available to see this stream. We have a deal with Google's parent company, Alphabet. We use YouTube's algorithms and secret back channels that cannot be encrypted by anyone outside of a Foundation device. And so you already work here, but you're an intern. I can see that because you're a white name. If you were to become a channel member, you could be a level 1 researcher, or a mobile task force captain, or even get promoted to overseer here at Site 42. But at least you are currently staff, and we appreciate your service. Now, I've got the donations from the previous stream set as well. So let me begin and get those out of the way so we don't lose them. Lockjaw, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a croissant on your way past the commissary. Could SCP-591 be used to contain SCP-682? I think I know what 591 is. What is 591? We have too many anomalies in their own numbers. The Pretendo. No, the Pretendo cannot be used to contain SCP-682. It puts you in a game, but nothing here can beat SCP-682's adaptation. I mean, karate guys are not going to be able to kill 682. A sword master cannot kill 682. None of these are strong enough to successfully destroy 682. Therefore, it is not worth looking at, but I will still look at it and do my due diligence by looking at the SCP-682 termination log, where we list everything we've done to that thing. Did we even try 591? We did not even try 591 because everyone knows it's not going to work. So now you know too. Next up on the donations that we don't want to miss because they're in the previous stream. 'Tis an SCP book and character Dr. Sherman is in it. Scarlet Fox, thank you for donating again to tell us. And okay, an SCP book. I'm now more curious, especially since Dr. Sherman will be making an appearance. Is this a novel? Is this a sort of what kind of canonicity are you working on? What canon are you working in? What theme? There is no canon, but there's so many canons. There's a lot of things you can do with this. Lockjaw, thank you for donating again. SCP-096 versus the Old Iron Nails. The Old Iron Nails, I feel like I remember this one. Doesn't this lock your shadow in place? SCP Old Iron Nails. It is an iron nail. It's a singular iron nail, not multiple iron nails, just to be sure. Yeah, doesn't it lock your shadow in place? And can't you, like, pull someone out of it and make them remove their, limbs or something if they try and get, pulled off? Because, yeah, here's the deal. 096 is not sentient or sapient enough to think, oh, I should just stay here, pinned to the spot. 096, if it's seen, it will run. And that means whatever is pinned to it will be removed. And whether or not that's enough to kill 096 is the next question. Dark Duality, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself some kimbap on your way past the commissary. Found something strange on the wiki. SCP-7777 mentioned you. Ah, yes. I am quite familiar with SCP-7777, codename Heptophobia. It's a anomaly that causes random number generators to generate a series of numbers and sevens that specifically accuse someone of a crime when decoded. And some idiot tried to frame me for a crime I didn't commit using that false iteration of that anomaly. But like Mr. Green in the movie Clue, I told you I didn't do it! And finally, Destroyer of Nations, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a brewski beer on your way past the commissary. Global Occult Coalition here, currently transmitting from an op in hell. That's on us. We are dealing with some anomaly in a server farm and destroying it. We destroyed that. We're dealing with some anomaly in a server farm, and in destroying it, we destroyed that. I'm confused about your issue, and I'm confused as why you're asking us, the Foundation, about it. Do you want Foundation assistance? Because if you gawksuckers want some Foundation assistance, you're gonna have to ask real nice and make a real good deal. Global Occult Coalition. All right. The previous stream's chat is now clear of donations, and so I'm coming back to the current stream, and we are back in action. America, thank you for your first donation of today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a hot link on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, check out my second message about me. What does that mean? Check out my second message about me. That, I don't know what that means. What is your second message about me? What is your first message about you? Is it what you're saying now, that you're back from my incident and will be in operation for the crash and the cave-in? Well, yes, I expect medical to do that. So, yes, keep recovering. What are you doing on your phone right now? Double N49 Commander. For tips about writing SCPs on this channel, there is a video called SCP Writing Tips from SCP Writers. It is a compilation of writing tips so that you can get the intel you need to be a better SCP author for your first time article. So check out that video. Would Jumanji be considered an SCP? Intern Cow. Because Jumanji is a different intellectual property from the SCP Wiki, it is not original and therefore cannot be added to the SCP Wiki. Therefore, it cannot be an SCP. It has to be an SCP article for it to be an SCP. But Jumanji is hella anomalous. So there is that. Remember, anything that's from a different fandom, it is anomalous, but not an SCP. Just like Godzilla is anomalous, but not an SCP. Just like the K-pop Demon Hunters are anomalous, but not SCPs. Furthermore, there is, in fact, anomalies on the wiki that are very similar to Jumanji. Isn't it SCP-3303 is the board game? No, that's the Tasty Time Warp Champagne. What is the board game that Jumanji's you? SCP, the board game 3301. SCP-3301 is the SCP board game that Jumanji's you. So yes, that is a pretty long article about SCP researchers being Jumanji'd, so you might enjoy that one. Amber, we'll still be here for another 2.5 hours, so if we see you back, we'll see you back. What the hell is this booing the K-pop Demon Hunters in my presence? How dare you? You know that Huntrick shows you how it's done. Do you not understand how they are golden? Excuse me. Don't you dare, you monsters. Do you know that those, I'm assuming, Archon object class anomalies are keeping demons from invading our world? I'm sorry. Do not diss on my faves while I am standing. Thank you. Love your hair, dude. Well, thank you very much. It is very faded from its very rich and vibrant peacock blue, purple, and teal, but it has now become a Hatsune Miku with a dash of purple, and that's pretty fun too. Boo, that K-pop Demon Hunter looks like an ex of mine. You're letting your ex control your life from seeing very good media? Boo on that, I say. Boo on letting the past control you in such a way. Move on, be strong, make your way. Don't let them control you. That's what I say. Even if boo your ex. Even if boo your ex. Destroyer of Nations, thank you for donating again. Global Co-Coalition here. In destroying the anomaly, we destroyed the files for Inside Job. Despite that, we would actually love assistance, as I'm stuck in a poker game for the souls of all anomalies and humanity. I specifically used the 6-month anniversary of daily streaming on this channel to shout out Inside Job and say bring it back, and you destroy the files for the new season? To hell with you and all of us. You have failed us for the last time. Scarlet Fox, thank you for donating again. I've written 4 chapters so far, and I know how I want it to end. I could share a bit with you in the DMs if you want. I hesitate to do that only because with as busy as I am, I do not often have time to read a lot right now. I'm already super far behind on the SCP-9000s. But that doesn't mean that I don't support you writing it, sharing it with other people and getting them into it, and making it finished so that when it's done, if you want to like sell it, I'll be like, hey, new SCP book by a Site42 fan. Let's do this. So yeah, maybe we'll get you some of the SCP voice actors to do some audiobook of it. I don't know. Weirder things have happened. Dr. Cullivan, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a guava turnover on your way past the commissary. I'm gonna go ahead and ask Steve. I've been away trying to do some meditations, but I'm still struggling to sleep. That sucks. I've been trying more and more to keep a very consistent, rigid sleep schedule, and that's been helping a little bit. And the days where I fall off of it suck. So maybe the consistency will help you the way it's kind of helped me. I don't know. I don't know your situation, but I hope for the best. Also, I hear that physical activity, if you exercise regularly, it helps regulate your circadian rhythm in a way that helps you get tired. So maybe try that. And for Steve, he caught a cold from one of the security staff, and so we've had to wait to reintegrate him into the life story writing with SCP-067. But we're up to age 20, which means we're only 10 years away, which is about 2 days of writing, at least based on what we got going on there. What? What is this chat about? What did you do? Lol, Rumi made me feel gay panic. The entirety of Twitter feels gay panic on a daily basis about the K-pop Demon Hunters. You're not alone in that. Which also makes me think of the Tumblr side of the SCP fandom and all the gay panic on that side. Oh, it was nothing bad. I just wanted to see what Desk was talking about, and it was just joking around, and so I wanted to join in the joking around. Wait. Update on the situation. Foxpax, thank you for your 19-month member message as a Mobile Task Force captain. You're almost up to your 2-year anniversary. Congratulations. Thank you for your membership and your service, containing anomalies, all of the anomalies you've helped us contain and or repel invasions of the other groups of interest on trying to take them from us. And of course, for your membership and your service in the battle against the White Names. Update on the situation from earlier. The Epsilon 6 operatives have been cleared for desk work by medical, and their commanders have been briefed. Well, that's nice. I'm glad to hear that some things are working a little better. Cullivan, thank you for donating again. Does this mean that I can borrow 067? Well, as long as it's been decontaminated, that way you don't catch an illness from it. I don't see why not, as long as you give it back so we can get back to work when Steve is ready to get back to work. Destroyer of Nations, thank you for donating again. Global Coalition here. I'm willing to make a deal here because there's a lot on the line. We've been stuck down here for about a year after the Hellmirror thing, and the demons have offered reconstructed files of Inside Job. All right, you're starting to speak my language. What kind of help do you need in this scenario? What's going to get you out of there, specifically with the Inside Job files? What if I took the SCP that looks like a peanut and put next to the Burning Man with the peanut just explode, or what will happen? Intern Lewis, the question you're really asking is what effect does fire have on concrete? And so, concrete burning point. Concrete doesn't burn, but can degrade under extreme heat, starting at around 300 to 600 degrees Celsius, or 572 to 1100 degrees Fahrenheit, when its internal moisture evaporates and chemical compounds begin to break down. So the next question you have to ask is, at what temperature does SCP-457, the Burning Man, burn? Burning Man has been known to burn at a temperature, forest fire, Really, no degree estimation. We just, it's a burning guy. We do not give a number for its temperature. Interesting. All right, so we do not tell an estimation of its temperature. I feel like that would be in the documentation of its containment procedures. That way we would know if we could keep it contained like that. So we do not know how hot that the Burning Man burns, which means I have to go by the average burning point of a average fire. Average temperature of a fire is... It can range from 600 degrees Celsius, 1100, to over 3000 degrees Celsius. So the base, the low burning range, is the maximum burning range of where you start to see degradation in concrete. So that would mean that the peanut statue would start to degrade and come apart. But furthermore, we do know that the structure of burning point of rebar. We do know that the rebar can go from 1370 to 1510 degrees Celsius, which is still within that 3000 degrees Celsius. So if Burning Man could burn at the hottest fire point, then it could probably degrade 173 to the point of trouble. Now the problem is, does the Burning Man have eyes? Can the Burning Man see? Can the Burning Man see affect SCP-173? And can SCP-457 keep 173 burning long enough to degrade, while we know that when unseen, 173 can move faster than vision and get away? There is some science to be done here, but the result would probably lead to the destruction of one or both anomalies. Therefore, I'm not willing to test it. But, you know, interesting idea there. Not a terrible question. Thank you. Not a terrible question. I love that. Hussam, thank you for your first donation of today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a euro on your way past the commissary. Hey, Dr. Sherman, what happens if Medusa looks at SCP-096? Interesting. Well, wait, isn't it that you have to look at Medusa? Yeah, no. If Medusa looks at you, you're fine. It's if you look at Medusa. So by your question, nothing would happen. But if 096 looked directly at Medusa, I wouldn't be shocked if it turned to stone. I don't think, while it is physically tough, I don't think it has that kind of magical durability. So I think it would turn to stone. I do hypothesize it would. Man, good questions today. Excellent. Now you guys are really thinking about scenarios that are interesting, not the same ones we've always heard 100 times. Calypso Stinger, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself. Well, I don't know what a whale bun is, so I'm going to have to look this up. But you're saying that SCP-3008 whale buns, you want to eat them because regular IKEAs added them, therefore Infinite IKEA should have them. If the regular IKEAs have them, they get added to the Infinite IKEA. It changes spatially through the progress of the IKEA Corporation, which is why you can get the Tasty Tasty Meat Hulls and also the Blowhouse in there. So, I just don't know what a whale bun is. The hell is a whale bun? IKEA launches super... Well, this is not a whale... Oh, there is a whale version of it, too. So is it a bao bun with a whale coating? That does look adorable. And I do enjoy myself a good bao bun. So, okay. Okay, you've got my interest. Yeah, let's enjoy... Let's enjoy a cute bao bun with a little whale coating. I think that's adorable. They also have them for the Blowhouse. So, nice. Neat. Learn something new. Casey Williams, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Coming back to the chat. So yes, you can grab some at the commissary, because obviously we have everything at the commissary, so you can get that. You said nothing would happen if SCP-096 looked at the cockatrice. Dr. Cullivan, I don't remember this conversation. You're going to have to refresh my memory. SCP cockatrice. Small reptile, avian head, unformed radiation. You're talking about 1013, I assume. Needle-like teeth, only used in feeding. Subjects report a sudden stabbing pain in most muscle groups with full paralysis setting in within 3 minutes. Well, this comes from a radiation and not a kind of magic. And so irradiation is a physical thing that 096 could be more immune to than just plain magic. So I still kind of stand by this. And if I'm wrong, there is no canon. Nixie, thank you for your 5-month member message as a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service, especially the research you're doing to help us win the battle against the white names. Hello, Dr. Sherman. Another month, another weapon. Hey, keep upgrading that arsenal. Orange Cloud, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a brownie on your way past the commissary. Who would win, Peanut or Shy Guy? Also, sup boss. So, the Versus Hub on the SCP Wiki, created by Dr. Sumerian in collaboration with Mr. Illustrated, fellow friend of the channel and SCP YouTuber Mr. Illustrated, they have a Versus Hub where they've written stories about SCPs fighting each other. Now, the 096-173 fight was particularly strange because we didn't just set them in a room and let them fight. Instead, this was a decommissioning attempt on 096 by us, the Foundation. And so we tried to, first, we dunked SCP-096's entire body in 682's acid to burn away the flesh. And then we shot it with a machine gun, with a bunch of machine guns a whole bunch of times. Then we let 173 loose in there And 173 doesn't have eyeballs, so it couldn't make 096 angry and attack it. But it did just constantly break 096's bones until eventually there was nothing left of 096 and it was decommissioned. So if you count that, I might assume that 173 won that. But if you don't count that as a fair fight, I think 096 is pretty durable without us hampering it. Therefore, maybe it would have had more of a chance of surviving. If there were infinite monkeys at infinite typewriters, and one types George the Chinchilla, could George infect every typewriter either by starting at the first or waiting for everyone to type it eventually? So here's the deal. George infects the media it is applied to. It doesn't infect the applicator. So when you draw George the Chinchilla comes to life on the paper, but it does not come to life with that pen anymore. You can go write on a different document and the pen would just be a normal pen. So with that being said, the paper that George the Chinchilla was typed on would be infected. And if that paper then came in contact with any other paper, it would be infected. But the typewriters would not be infected in any way. Destroyer of Nations, thank you for donating again. I need some way to extract from Under Vegas. I can physically see the files, the soul contract, and the hell mirror. In exchange, the Foundation will gain the hell mirror and the files, but we're keeping the soul contract. Well, is that you saw nothing? Is that like the soul contract for all of humanity? Because if you're holding a soul contract for all of humanity, then I'm sorry, but we're gonna need that too if you want to get out of there. Because obviously, you guys have not been trustworthy with it. So if you need assistance to win this game and get out of there, no, we're taking that too, buddy. You'll be lucky we get you out of Under Vegas and make our way there. Husam, thank you for donating again. If 096 did turn to stone, could you safely look? If it's through a magical curse and 096 becomes stone, then there is no biological living 096, which means yes, you could look. Why did Dr. Sharpie turn Boston accent? Sharpie's a hell of a nickname. It's because I was negotiating, okay? I was negotiating. This is the deal-making tone of voice. You want to make a tone of voice for a deal? You make a deal in this tone of voice. That's how they know you mean business. And when you're doing business, you better mean business. Otherwise, you shouldn't be doing business. Just a Factory, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Thank you for being a member, and thank you for making that donation through the Ko-Fi, which, on your advice, I did set up Stripe for, so we'll see how the fees are different and see how that works. So I appreciate the tip, as well as the tip. So thank you for that. Make sure to grab yourself a nice ice cream cone on your way past the commissary. Could SCP-022-J contain SCP-682? You think that SCP-682 can't break out of titanium? You know they make bikes out of titanium, right? Because it is a lightweight metal. Yeah, titanium is strong for its weight, but it's not that strong. They make bikes out of it because it's lightweight, but have you ever seen a bike get hit by a car? They don't fare that well. And 682 will do more damage than a car. You want to use titanium. You want to use titanium. Desk, it is not a super metal. It is just a metal. It has a purpose, and it is not that. Oh my fucking God. I will throw you guys in a titanium prison, and you know what? It'll work for you because the metal isn't super, and neither are you. So you'll be stuck unless you can 1-inch punch your way out of there. I don't know. if you are the bride from Kill Bill and can punch through titanium instead of wood, but I'm like to make you try. Also, have you tried any of the SCP-001.5-J scenarios? Also see that you have stripes set up. Ah, I didn't know you could see it from your end. That's interesting. Neat. Meanwhile, SCP-001.5-J, you say. The big blue button. Okay. The following file was unanimously deemed by the Site Directors Executive Committee of the whole and the O5 Council to suck major balls. Okay. Noted. Object Class Apollyon Objective Assessment. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-001.5-J is to be held in a private vault within Site 1 and is only be accessed by the Overseer Council. Description. SCP-001.5-J is a reality warping omnikinetic eigenweapon taking the form of a circular blue button placed into a metal case. Upon approaching 001.5-J, the subject will receive a telepathic message informing them that they can press the button for a positive effect, but will receive a negative effect in turn. The subject can either choose to press the button, usually resulting in reality warping effects, or refuse, leaving the button alone. Live SCP-001.5-J interface. Will you press the button? You receive SCP-662 and Mr. Deeds has no limitations, but the Foundation will declare war on humanity again. Well, that just means that we will clearly be able to win because we now have control of Mr. Deeds and no limitations. So obviously I would press that. Bye, humanity. Oh, it's not in this universe? Fine. Honestly, Just a Factory, thank you for showing me that anomaly because I'd never seen it before. And now I think that would be a very fun stream activity sometime. I think we should play around with SCP-001.5-J sometime. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. So did you have to invoke Cockblock Jesus yet? Dark Duality, no, we have not yet. First of all, thank you for donating again. And secondly, we have not had to invoke Cockblock Jesus yet because it is a newer anomaly to our vernacular of contained Jizai, and because we have not invoked any sort of god or deity during an annoyed in asexual moment, which is what I would likely invoke Cockblock Jesus for. So when some of the wannabe anomalous gooners come back into chat, I'm sure Cockblock Jesus, SCP-4477, will make another appearance. And I'm correct about that, right? It is SCP-4477. Always need to make sure to remember, yep, codename Leave Room for Jesus. Just Alice, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a snow cone on your way past the commissary. Good afternoon, Dr. Sherman. Hope you are well. Moon you moon. Well, good to see you as well, Just Alice. If you all are unfamiliar, this is Just Alice of the animated series Anomaly, I believe, on the SCP side of YouTube. And so if you want to go support that channel and give them a little help in making an SCP animated series, it's worth taking a look. I've been seeing some good updates on your Patreon, so I look forward to seeing the results. Somebody asked if they could breed SCP's help. Well, I mean, depending on the anomaly, there are breeding measures that have to be gone. That way we have enough iterations to keep them in circulation. You know, if we run out of 939s for testing, we better breed some 939s. That way we can have some more. We don't need to breed any more of the Chicken Men, SCP-31, I believe it's 99? I don't think. We don't need any more Chicken Men because they spawn themselves. But we do need more 939s for testing. Certain anomalies do need to be... Oh. You're telling me that's slang for them wanting to shag the anomalies. See, this is when I would invoke SCP-4477, Cockblock Jesus. Cockblock Jesus, Jesus! It's a very fun song. Husam Rafat, thank you for donating again. Ben 10's Alien Topic versus SCP-096. Well, I'm not familiar with Topic. Ben 10 Topic. Topic is a greenish yellow-skinned ogre-like alien. Only way of defeating enemies is with his extremely scary face, which taps in the primordial fields locked in all beings' subconscious and primitive brains. Topic's face is so hideously horrifying that almost no being in the known universe can look at it without being scared to the point of turning pale white. It can also induce sickness and nausea. If someone were to take a photograph of Topic's face, the picture would come out blurry. Besides Topic's face can cause adverse on every being in the universe, even a Celestia Sapiens personalities. Common these effects are inducement of terror and insanity. There are certain things Topic is unable to scare, such as Mauve Riedel, because she has seen worse. Dagon and Professor Paradox, who can see Topic's face clearly, as it is not an unknowable horrible to him. Therefore, he is able to overcome his initial fears. So, I'm going to go with, I do not know if this affects sapient or non-sapient, non-sentient entities. And specifically in the 096, so I'm keeping clear on the documentation. Control F, sapient. It is not known yet whether SCP-096 is blind or not. It shows no signs of any higher brain functions that is not considered to be sapient. So we don't even know if it can see. So that means that Topic is useless because it can't see its face. Let alone even if it could see, could 096 still react with disgust? Because 096 only has two emotions, cry and rage. So I'm not sure Topic's got what it takes to stop 096 there. Destroyer of Nations, thank you for donating again. You're lucky I'm dealing with the pit bosses in this game. Fine, the contract is yours. Starting to understand why we got Mobile Task Force training targets. Yeah, a shaky relationship, but we're still getting it done for you, aren't we? Thank you for your terms. Help is on the way. Oswald, desk. Namres is my evil twin and we do not talk about him, okay? Let it go. Ask 294 for a drink that instantly kills 682. Intern Waffles, we've done that before. It cannot dispense enough liquid, because it can only dispense a cup. It can't destroy all of 682. Furthermore, when we used an anomaly that reproduces liquid as a rainstorm that could rain that liquid on 682, it did not destroy every cell, which means 682 regenerated, and now it's immune to that. So, we had our shot and we lost it. We threw away our shot. Sir, do you like cheese? Do you see my complexion? I am, in fact, a white man. And this means, of course, I love cheese. You know white people love cheese. Come on, son. I heard there was a leak in the SCP Foundation. I don't know which division, though, just rumors. Well, there's always a leak in one way because we purposefully leak information that will get people into positions we need for operations. So yes, there are leaks, and their leaks are there on purpose for our further goals. Ish Productions, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. See, when it's Halloween, then can you do a stream, or are you going to dress up for it, or can we dress up as SCPs? Well, Intern Madgwick, because of the daily stream protocols, I will be streaming on Halloween. I don't know what time. Probably earlier in the day, that way I don't miss the evening celebrations. So yes, perhaps we will shed our professional attire and wear costumes, as long as security is well alerted so they don't go shooting staff members who are dressed as anomalies again. Idiots. Is there any SCP that has verbally spoke to you? Intern Aiden, there are lots of SCPs that are just people with abilities who can speak, and therefore, yes, I have spoken with several anomalies. It's not that uncommon. Intern American, you are wrong. I turned 39 in August. I love SCP Foundation Party. It's so fun every year. People go crazy. Well, yes, Anomalous, you must assume that the more uptight the person, the more crazy they get when they let loose. That's just a stereotype that turned out to be pretty true. So yeah, the buttoned up types are always the ones you gotta be careful about when it's party time. Destroyer of Nations, thank you for donating again. 2 questions. Number 1, when did the Foundation get transportation tech that can reach Hell? And 2, why was I teleported in front of several mobile task force operators? A, we have lots of teleportation tech, depending on the canon and the universe you're speaking of. Furthermore, obviously we dropped you in the middle of one of our security crews to make sure things were on the level before things went wrong. Please deposit the agreed upon artifacts with the team, and you'll be allowed to go on your way. I thought you were 50. I'm not being sarcastic. Well, Oswald, you are an extra-dimensional demon who doesn't know that much about humanity besides hatred, so I can understand your inability to tell ages. Foxpax and Co., thank you for your first donation of today's stream as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a Grab yourself a bratwurst on your way past the commissary. Also, we managed to take some CI operatives while rescuing the Epsilon 6 operatives, and we've been interrogating them over the past few days with little success. What do you need to enhance the interrogation? I have a score to settle with Chaos Insurgents agents who may know about the time that they raided our base last month. And so, what resources do you need to get answers? I'd love to assist. He is not 50, he is 51. Java name, very funny. Destroyer of Nations, thank you for becoming a Mobile Task Force Captain here at Site 42. Oh my, we have a defector in our ranks. Welcome to the team. Thank you for your membership and your service. Dr. Sherman's about to invent new fun war crimes. I mean, we are an arts community. It's in our lives to be creative. Cloud, thank you for gifting 5 Site 42 memberships to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. We appreciate your generosity in helping build our ranks for the battle against the white names, as well as the pink hair dyeing goal and the cat-made waifu stream goals. So we appreciate your service, and hey, if you got a membership from Cloud, make sure to thank them for their generosity. Oh, intern American, you don't need to apologize for getting a single small detail wrong. You were only off by a year anyways. You're fine. You're fine. Dr. Sherman, is it a problem if I tell interns that living SCPs are dead for fun? Well, Dr. Frogman, you're in a situation where then you're giving false information to staff members, which might cause them to, I don't know, enter the containment cell to check and be mauled by a living anomaly. So yes, don't do that. Why are you looking up for? Because I am in a vocal recording lab, and therefore the microphone goes in front of your face at face height, and the monitor is higher up. So you can see what you're recording, but you don't need to look at it the whole time because what you're doing is speaking and looking at your script. Foxpax & Co., thank you for donating again. We're open to suggestions to try and get these a-holes to start talking. We've tried everything, aside from the most extrema of methods. What SCP could we requisition to put the screws to the Chaos Insurgents in captivity? Staff? Do you have any ideas? What SCPs could convince them to talk? Desk, you're saying ink blot. Well, how long are they in pain before they die? Because I know that kills them pretty quickly, and we do not want them dead because then they can't talk. The Lost Song. Rimuru, I'm not sure what that is, actually. Just by the name The Lost Song. Can you tell me which anomaly that is? Furthermore. Dr. Frogman? While I agree that seven The 29-J would probably loosen some lips. I'm not sure I would want to do that to anyone. Although they did raid my base, so... I don't know, see if we can get the ethics committee to even clear that. They won't let me use it on 4521 yet, so who knows. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy. While I like the idea of using SCP-067 to make them write out their confession life story, it is possible they will draw something instead, or it's possible that they will simply use their free arm to kill themselves before spilling secrets. So that wouldn't work, unfortunately. The only reason it's working with Steve is because Steve's cooperating. Oh, by the way, Site 42 staff, we are currently... What is that timer there? That is... We are 1 hour into the 3-hour stream approximately. So we've got about 2 hours left in today's stream as a time check. Oh, don't refresh. I was still answering requests here. Just put them in a room with Clef, they'll talk. Unfortunately, we can't throw Clef at every situation. As far as I know, Clef's already busy with something. What if we did 666.5-J and then threatened to feed it to them again if they don't talk? Oh no, is that the oysters? That's the oysters, is it? Isn't it? Oh, you are cruel, and actually I can kind of get behind that one. 666.5-J. Oh no, that's the Roaring Flames of Hell. It's crab stuffed mushroom entree. Okay, I was right. It's not oysters, it's crab stuffed mushrooms. Okay, yes, I can get behind that one. Yeah, let's give them some of that. That'll be fun. After 15-20 minutes of the subject's intestines experiencing a level of containment rivaling that of SCP-106 and involving substantially more screaming, the subject will experience a brief RK-class rapture scenario, feeling a relaxation of the lower muscles, a wave of elation, and a fleeting hope that the worst has passed. Following this, the gates of hell open up with the subject's intestines as Satan himself violates the subject's anal canal with a pickaxe. A sudden SK-class scorched earth scenario completely raises the interior lining of the affected's digestive tract as unholy murder flame rages throughout in a demonic vortex at a temperature of roughly holy crap on a cupcake degrees Kelvin. So yes, yes, I approve. If you can get a hold of some. Foxtrot, thank you for your first donation of today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself anything except SCP-66.5-J on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, they sent me to medical again. The mark has seemed to spread up my arm as an initial point of contact. It stopped speaking, though. Well, at least it's quit yapping, although maybe it's just run out of things to say. Huh. Did you do anything that caused the mark to spread? Are you doing anything now that's abating it? Perhaps if we are able to figure out what you may be doing that's stopping the spread, you may be able to master abating the effects of the anomaly. CD, thank you for your first donation of today's stream, and thank you for being a member. Make sure to grab yourself some chili fries on your way past the commissary. Don't worry, Dr. Sherman, the ethics committee won't be a problem. Good to know. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. Her name is Beatrix Kiddo, lol. Oh, wow. That was like 30 minutes ago, I think. Destroyer of Nations, thank you for donating again. More of a double agent. Fun fact, did you know that Global Occult Coalition teleporters could reach into security sites? I left the Hell Mirror and the inside job files with your team, but remember, humanity's under contract. Well, yes, it's our job to keep the contract and to make sure that humanity is not taken. That is what we do. We maintain normalcy. It's fine. We're used to it. Foxpacks & Co., thank you for donating again. Welp, send everything to the prison block and we'll see how it works. All right, we'll get you some requisition forms submitted. Expect them later in the day. Unless we have to transfer it from another site, then it will take a little more time. But hey, I mean, those Chaos Insurgency guys, they're here for both a good time and a long time. Tell me about SCP. Well, if you are new to the SCP Foundation, and hey, if you have friends who are new to the SCP Foundation, it can sometimes be very hard to explain what SCP is quickly and concisely. But because TikTok had a character limit back in the day that was very small, I found a very small paragraph to explain it very clearly, which is, the SCP Foundation is a creative writing community and fandom based on a secretive organization that hides magic and monsters from the general public, similar to the Men in Black. It helps people get it very succinctly. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. No, my knowledge, no, but my dreams were like I was trapped in some types of void. Maybe the void mass is home. Last I heard was the space between worlds, welcome home. Quite concerning. Void mass, space between worlds, welcome home. Well, I don't have anything in the database that matches your description of the phrasing here, but hopefully it gives you some more insight. Intern Avery, SCP-748 is not that immature joke you made that wasn't very funny. It is, in fact, a industrial site that turned anomalous, unfortunately. Its codename is Industrial Dissolution. Intern Bobo, what's this? What are we doing here? We are talking about the inner mysteries of the SCP Foundation. I'm answering your questions as a staff member. So, line them up if you got them. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. So in World Theory, when an article gets rewritten, it is a reset from an apocalypse thing. That's why Clef's kid is a plant girl now as opposed to the gross thing before. Yeah, you could call that a reality being rewritten. Pataphysical narrative levels, maybe. Reality waves. There's all sorts of reasons. I mean, there's also Swan's proposal, where we're being run as a creative writing fiction site for some upper pataphysical level looking down on us. Ugh. Bearded Expensive, long time no see. Hope you've been doing well, and thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself some poke bowl on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, Dr. Williams returning from R&R. I had a strange occurrence. My phone has been acting strangely. There have been undecipherable messages. Thoughts. Okay, strange occurrence, phone acting strange, and indecipherable messages. So here's the thing. A lot of anomalies affect phones. Which, you know, these things, phones haven't been around for that long. Therefore, it is not a scenario where since the dawn of time, these anomalies have existed. That being said, all right, we'll start scouring the database for phone-based anomalies and see what you find that sounds similar. Cloud, thank you for donating again. May I have a cup of joe? Yeah, head to the commissary, grab yourself a cup of joe. Thankfully, 294 is not on site, so you can't accidentally assault anyone named Joseph. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. Last note, I feel more connected to the mass. Well, remember that you are not the mass, that you are a separate entity, please. We don't need you joining some unnecessary hive mind. We've got enough of those. Terragal, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself some Jell-O on your way past the commissary. I finished my magnum opus, laser potatoes that float, perfect for parties. Humans are immune to lasers like dragons are, right? No, human beings are not immune to lasers. Otherwise, sharks with laser beams attached to their frickin' heads wouldn't be that much of a threat now, would they? I might be a bit unupdated, but what happened to Joseph when someone wanted a cup of joe? Intern Arctic Sparser. If you look at the SCP-294 documentation, the coffee machine that can spawn any liquid, then where's Joe? Ancient Joseph Redacted began to sweat profusely and complained of dizziness before collapsing. After moving the unconscious agent to the infirmary, the medical team recovered the contents of the cup, a combination of blood, tissue, and other bodily fluids. Testing revealed the DNA sequence of the biological material dispensed by 294 to be from Agent Joseph Redacted. So yes, please do not order a cup of joe from SCP-294 when it comes to your site. Original Shorai, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a cucumber sandwich on your way past the commissary. You may or may not be the product of a universe-sized chat GPT prompt. Oh my fucking god. Listen, it's already enough being the product of a group of online fanfiction horror writers. Some of them being ridiculous theater college dropouts. But if you tell me that our universe is the product of a pataphysical effect on an AI prompt, I will fucking lose it. Bearded Expensive, thank you for your 5-month member message as being an overseer here at Site 42. Though we haven't seen you in a while, I'm sure that behind the scenes, you are successfully steering our mission to win the battle against the White Names, and your membership, service, and leadership are greatly valued. Doctor, I've done a quick look over my records. I am looking at 4 possibilities. SCP-1471, an app called Mallow.1.1.0 Interactive. Well, that's one possibility, but what are the other four? While I'm waiting for that updated response, Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. Didn't the crybaby used to be a human? I'm not actually sure what you mean by that. What do you mean, the crybaby, in this case, Dark Duality? Zechariah and Theed, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Dr. Sherman, do humans count as SCPs or no? Intern DJ, humans are non-anomalous, but if they have an anomalous aspect or ability, then they are, in fact, anomalous, yes. This makes sense to me. Are you having trouble keeping up? Dr. Sherman, SCP-777-J versus SCP-6101, Clash of the Titans. Listen, we will never have a contest between those two because they are obviously, beyond being the strongest SCPs of all time, also the most pure-hearted and good, and would never battle someone who wasn't an evildoer. Clearly. Dr. Sherman, if I wanted to get into voice acting for the SCP Wiki, how would I go about that? Well, that person, Molten. The first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure you are a voice actor. That you have the tech, that you have the skill, that you have the talent, that you've put in the work. Once you do that, the funny thing about the SCP Wiki is it is a decentralized group of dozens of authors. And so the times I have voice acted for the SCP Wiki, it's been when an individual author says, hey, I'm working on this article, and I've got this voice part I want to do. Will you do a voice for it? And so what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to gain notoriety within the SCP community as a voice actor. Perhaps start a YouTube channel and Spotify playlist of your podcast voice acting SCP stories. Chum around in SCP public spaces, and don't just advertise your work. Also be a cool, friendly person who people want to talk to because you're fun. And then also, by the way, I do this, and you should check this out if you like this kind of thing. And at that point, when you are a well-known name in the community, then people will ask you to do things for them in that way. Especially if you put yourself out there like, hey, I'll do free work. Because for the SCP Wiki, most of this is unpaid labor. We are a creative writing fan fiction site. So it's not like people are being paid for SCPs. So they're not paying for voice actors for SCPs. But if you want to do it for fun, you can just make yourself well-known in the community. Make yourself talent that should be asked for. That would be the way I did it. That would be the way Desk did it. Dark Duality. I haven't seen an update from you yet, although the chat's always flying, so maybe I just missed it. But Desk is telling me that there is lore somewhere on the SCP database that 096 used to be human in some canon. So if you're talking about 096 as the crybaby, then the answer could be yes, depending on your canon. Beard Expensive, thank you for donating again. Apologies, my phone had another indecipherable message. Here's the updated list. 1471, 7391, 4433, and 079. Well, 079 is a pretty old AI, so should be easy enough to purge with the correct baiting and trapping. Are you seeing any Mallow entities? Because that would clearly tell you if you were looking at actually 1471 there. Meanwhile, 7391... phone app available from the app stores. You have to live in a town with a population under 50,000 and located at least 100 kilometers from the nearest city or town with a population that big. The user lives below or within 25% of the poverty line, and the user is gainfully employed in a full-time job. It's an app that generates or mines a cryptocurrency called Verdant Cash, having to do with trees or plants. It deposits to your bank account despite not giving it your bank account. And it gives you 3 times the user's post-tax wage. Huh. So it's just an app that gives you the monies. Okay, well, if you don't have a plant that's giving you money, it's not that one. You would know if you were getting money from this anomaly. So last but not least, 4433. Suburban Nightmare is the code name. Sentient anomalous humanoids which will target one subject at a given time in order to impersonate their family and convince them through both vocal coercion and anomalous influence to come to SCP-44333-A, in which it will manifest in further anomalous events. That does not sound like what you're talking about. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. Last thing I remember seeing an old vid when someone did things to 999 when you got mad. Did you go anomalous or were you so mad it manifested? Here's the problem with my author and creator, which is that old canonicity of videos is fluid at Site 42. Therefore, the question of am I anomalous or not is still up in the frickin' air. So yes, I think I'm an anomalous, non-anomalous. I think I'm non-anomalous. I misspoke. I was not, don't clip that. As far as I'm concerned, I am a non-anomalous, perfectly normal human being and site director, as is my pen, a perfectly normal, not human pen, because that would be anomalous. Instead, it is a non-anomalous pen that is not a human pen, but it is non-anomalous. But apparently, due to the canonicity of universes in videos made years ago, I may have some sort of anomaly that I'm not familiar with, and I will still waiting on the solving of the quantum superposition of my anomalous abilities or not. Oscar, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a hot dog on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, I burnt the milk. Okay. Well, they do tell you that you don't need to heat powdered milk before putting it into things, so I don't know why you tried to do that. A pan of powdered milk will obviously burn. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. Is liking Vocaloid wrong since the voices aren't human? Vocaloids, I don't know what the deal is there. Because it's not treated as AI. And so, therefore, I don't really have an answer on Vocaloids relating to AI and the morality of such. I do know that it's been a long way before this Gen AI trend. And so you'll have to look into someone other than me for the morality of Vocaloids. Intern King, or Researcher King, thank you for your first donation of today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a mojito on your way past the commissary. Love is likes on YouTube, so like the stream, lol. Yes, Mobile Task Force Psi 42, codename Signal Boosters, like that stream. We believe in you. You've already got the likes higher than the view count, so congratulations on that milestone. That means the YouTube algorithm is going to go out there and grab people by the throat and drag them into our chat algorithmically. And then they will see the SCP Foundation has a active community on YouTube, and they'll be like, what? What? SCP Foundation? What's that? And then that's when we hook them. And that's when they become diehard SCP fans who help us to support the wiki and its authors and artists and animators and filmmakers and game makers and all those things. So, Mobile Task Force Psi 42, codename Signal Boosters, I thank you for your service. Java name, thank you for gifting a Site 42 membership to some lucky member of our Containment Hazard Assessment team. If you receive that membership, make sure you thank Java name for their generosity. And thank you, Java name, for your continued bolstering of our forces in the battle against the white names. We'll see you next time. By the way, Site 42 staff, we are currently 80 minutes until the end of stream. 80 minutes, 1 hour and 20 minutes until the end of stream is our time check. If a priest tried to enter Eden, would the gate guardian kill him or tell him to move because of his holiness? It is of my, at least hypothesis, that any human priest on Earth, while a holy man, would not be holy enough to pass the gate guardian, right? Is that how it works? I'm trying to remember the documentation. Desk, if you know the answer to this. I believe I'm right that no human is pure enough for the gate guardian to let pass in that way. No human to date has been allowed to pass. So there you go. Your answer is found. Hey, does the commissary have books? I mean, it probably has some magazines laid out, but it's a commissary, not a library. If you want to go to get books, you go to the library. Is Mr. Deeds still around? Well, yes, the Mr. Deeds Bell SCP-662 is still intact and active, and you can summon Mr. Deeds for what you need, but, you know, Mr. Deeds disappears after accomplishing a task similar to a Mr. Meeseeks. Therefore, yeah, the bell's just in its box. Hey, Dr. Sherman, I made an SCP called the Wounded Queen, and she is highly dangerous. Well, if it's an anomaly, remember, it's an it. Not a he, not a she. Anomalies are objects, not people. So please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. It is highly dangerous, but only when threatened. So how you classify it? Please, I'm dying to know. Well, I'm sorry that this might be the only time I see your message, and I don't have enough information to classify it. You haven't told me what its anomaly is. And so I don't know if it would be easy or hard to contain, and that's what gauges the object class of an anomaly. So unfortunately, I can't answer your question. Also, just to say, it's highly dangerous but only when threatened is such an overused trope for SCP making. Again, it's something that could be used well. There's no such thing as a bad idea, but God, it's so dangerous, but only if you threaten it. Overused, man. Overused. You gotta be careful with that. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. Interrogation, SCP-1531. SCP-1531, I remember this one. What is this one? A standard issue polygraph, the perfect lie detector. So yes, I mean, that means the problem is whether they actually talk or not, because it can tell truth or lies perfectly, but that doesn't mean they'll actually speak. Also, it's a memetic infection that's doing weird things, so I don't trust it right now. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. The voice is back. I need to make room for what it says. It just keeps saying overseer, and I don't think it's talking about our staff. Well, yes, we're not letting a random anomaly interact with our overseers, but try to get an answer on what overseer it is speaking of. Scout, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Grab yourself an ice-cool glass of melonade on your way past the commissary. We finally stopped Pedro's containment breach. What did security officer Pedro do that caused a containment breach? I haven't heard about this. Fill me in. Oscar, thank you for donating again. I didn't burn powder milk, it was liquid. Well, that's peculiar because the security tape shows you pouring a box of powdered milk into a pan and then burning it. So, did you perceive it as liquid? Are you going under some sort of cognitohazard that makes you believe that powders are liquids? Curious. I'm interested in more. Our Valentine, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a edible arrangement on your way past the commissary. Awful idea, an SCP-J that gives you gender dysphoria and abnormal hair discoloration. So, at that point, I mean, remember, there's no such thing as a bad idea, but you gotta make a good story out of it. What could make that interesting in a way to be a -J? See, I don't have a successful -J on the wiki. One time I auditioned for a job directing a theater company. And when they said, hey, do you have any weaknesses? Because at that time I was a dance teacher. I was the dance captain of the troupe. So moving into a directorial position just made sense when the director before was gone. And they were like, all right, do you have any weaknesses? I was like, I'm not funny. I'll help write scripts, but I'm not funny. I'll need funny people to help me write the scripts for these shows, because I'm not funny. And so, yes, you'll notice on the SCP Wiki, I don't have any -Js. Something about the format doesn't jibe with me, man. I must admit, I have gotten funnier with age. Ty Garbers, thank you for your first donation of today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a turkey leg on your way past the commissary. So, who do I gotta talk to in order to get clearance? I promise I'm not a secret global occult coalition plant. Well, let me just refer to our newly minted double agent from earlier to prove your latter statement, and then we'll see. Oscar, thank you for donating again. Why is the entire beach water? There's no sand. Well, the weirder thing is that you're at SCP-5542, the cake beach. So now you're not only not seeing powders as liquids, but you're also missing cake? I mean, I guess cake starts as a powder until you add the water and bake it. Wow, this is getting crazier and crazier. I need to know what's going on there. Horror Show, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to get yourself some meatloaf on your way past the commissary for your first donation. And since you didn't send a message with your dono, thank you for your generosity. Zero, thank you for your 5-month member message as an overseer here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership, your service, and especially your leadership in helping us win the battle against the white names. We need to study what makes people ignore crosswalks and crossing the street unsafely, and why drivers don't care about the pedestrians crossing. I believed I answered my own question. That makes sense. But to solve it, we could just let Dr. Gerald drive in the neighborhood. Then everybody would stay away from the roads and the crosswalks entirely. They just wouldn't walk. Problem solved. Critter's Corner, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Grab yourself a pickle on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, apologies for missing these office hours. I've been busy with work and reapplying for college. Anyway, any recommendations for bittersweet SCP stories? Okay, so I hope your application goes well. No worries about missing the streams, obviously. Life gets in the way, and we stream daily now. For 6 months, the streak continues, thank you. Amazing. Yeah, 6 months. But furthermore, yes, catch up on the VODs if you want. We've had some pretty good streams and some pretty good stories going. And then, bittersweet SCP stories. Anything by SCP author Ori Tiefling usually goes into the bittersweet range. The one about the gay couple whose like parting deathbed present was the organ that plays anomalously in a cave. Or the one, SCP-7999, about the bug planet that we had a big wormhole open up to and they came to visit our planet. And the bugs were really nice and they did Argentine Tango in Paris with one of our researchers. And then their planet died and we were all very sad about it. Yes, the Ori Tiefling catalog is where I would go for bittersweet SCPs. Will Tunes, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a rack of ribs on your way past the commissary. Does the Foundation ever label anomalies as insignificant or not worthy of research? Like, does this SCP deserve more detailed analysis than that? Oh, intern Tunes, let me introduce you to the gutter of anomalies that we have here, called the Log of Anomalous Items. The Log of Anomalous Items, Volume 1, and it continues into a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th volume, and the 7 is open to new additions. The Log of Anomalous Items is a series of very small anomalies that don't really do that much, that we have put aside because we're not really doing anything with it study-wise. It does not qualify as a full-fledged SCP. If you're looking for some bite-sized anomalous ideas, the Log of Anomalous Items is there for you. Daichi, you looked at SCP-096 and you've been running. Well, keep running. It'll lengthen the amount of time you live by a very short fraction, but it's better than nothing, because you ain't making it. Nice knowing you. Zero, thank you for donating for your first donation of today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a burger on your way past the commissary. How would Site-42 contain Turbo Granny? That seems impossible to contain considering her powers. In a world of aliens and demons, feels like home. Dun 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 dun. So, if I had to contain Turbo Granny, my first move would be happy that it is contained in a cat statue and can't really do much right now. Problem solved. But I'm sure you want me to contain the full-powered Turbo Granny. And thankfully, Turbo Granny was basically contained at the beginning of the show before the main characters interfered. Because Turbo Granny was just staying inside of the tunnel. You could have just left Turbo Granny in the tunnel. We would have put up security, we would have said it's a risk of cave-in, and we would have turned away people who went in there. So, not our problem. Easy peasy. By Inside Job, you mean the animated show, right? Because I loved Inside Job. Yes, intern D'Angelo. I do in fact mean Inside Job, the basically SCP Foundation Gravity Falls cartoon that was so rudely and unjustly canceled by Netflix during production of its second season. Those bastards. Inside Job is amazing. To anybody who likes SCP and didn't know about Inside Job, it's on Netflix. Watch it. It's amazing. Ty Garbers, thank you for donating again. Any recommendations or pointers on writing entries about anomalies? I'd like to start helping document anomalies, but I'm a bit nervous. I have bad anxiety. So first of all, this is just the thing about all anxiety. Anxiety is typically that fear of like diving into the pool for the first time, where once you start practicing it, the anxiety fades away. And so what you should start by is reading a whole bunch of SCPs. That way you get an understanding of how SCPs are written. Read early Series 1 SCPs, read some from every 1,000, and start documenting the changes. What's the difference between a Series 1 article, a Series 2 article, a Series 3, and so on and so forth? Start to get a grasp on what these different pieces of SCP articles portray story-wise. This is the kind of thing where you can take writing classes. You can take critical reading classes to improve your skills at breaking down stories and understanding why things are written the way they are to portray what they're trying to portray. The learning is your first part. Then the practicing, deciding on your story idea and trying to figure out how to utilize the SCP format to flesh that story out into something that people will enjoy reading. And so you start by writing out your idea and you see, okay, is that good? Is there anything I would fix? Once you think you've got a good story, go back to start, critique it again, and see if you can add more, take more out, streamline it, or add details that seem necessary. Then get some critique from other people so you can get an outsider's vantage point, especially if it's an outsider who is a skilled writer, especially if it's an SCP author, because then they already know how to post an SCP successfully. From there, I'll continue the writing process, but the more you... Huh. Okay. I seem to have deflected the attack this time. I wonder if that's going to work in the future. Let's experiment the next time that happens. Interesting. Okay. Maybe that will work in the future as well. We'll find out. Okay, so 079 is backed off. Where was I? What was I talking about when we got hacked? Desk says, the only thing I can think of outside we're fixing was telling me the one person with the dragon was the only information they present. Dragon lives other things. You're back. You're back. What was I talking about? Sorry, Desk. I meant what was I talking about, not what was you talking about. Sorry, I was panic typing. Understandable that I would get a type error, though. Okay, we just moved on to Uzumaki. Cool. So, let me go back to the chat, make sure we're up and running. R. Valentine, thank you for donating again. And you said, are you familiar with Junji Ito's Uzumaki? So, I am only familiar about Junji Ito's Uzumaki through cultural osmosis and memes. I've never read any Junji Ito, although what I've heard about it, I feel like I would be very interested. For interest, for instance, I just listened to a very long podcast by two YouTubers I very much enjoy, Super Eye Patch Wolf and Woolly Versus. They have a podcast together called Versus Wolves that I'm a Patreon patron of because, oh my god, they are amazing. And also their behind-the-scenes podcast for Patreon patrons is also good. So they did a whole bunch of, they did a whole conversation about Junji Ito in a recent podcast, and I was seated, as I always am, for Eye Patch Wolf and Woolly Versus. And so it is something I want to check out based on their recommendation. I haven't yet, but I intend to. Wait, you never read any Junji Ito? Correct, Junior Researcher Sally. There's a lot of stuff in the world, and, you know, I believe in XKCD's motto. Instead of being like, oh, I can't believe you haven't seen this. You're so terrible for not seeing it. We always go, okay, you're one of today's lucky 10,000. It's that, yes, okay, I anticipate you successfully getting into the thing now. Today's your lucky day that I'm introducing you to it. Not that you were chastising me. I'm not saying you were chastising me. I'm just saying in general that is the thing people do sometimes, and it's rude. Don't be mean to people. All right, wait a minute. Double check. Dr. L, none of us are interested in your self/fic with Mallow. Stop gooning to the anomalies. No fraternizing with anomalies. Hashtag annoyed and asexual. Hashtag save us cockblock Jesus. SCP-4477. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. I woke up outside the site by the gate. It screamed, I screamed my name, and I hate it. According to Security Officer Miller, I was sleepwalking, muttering something. I swear I was at my desk. What the hell? All right. Well, we are now going to have to put you under surveillance, put you under watch. So let's guide you to a containment cell just temporarily until we figure this whole thing out, huh? Sid, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a hot slice of Pizza Planet pizza on your way past the commissary. Congratulations on the 6-month daily streak, and it's been bugging. Would Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde be classed as an anomaly, or could they be a researcher? So first of all, thank you for your congratulations. Our 6 months of streaming is quite the achievement. Secondary, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So it depends on your iteration of the story. The original iteration of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde has a lot less of this split personality, two-person thing than you suggest. that is suggested by future media. I just saw a YouTube video about this. Ba-da-da. Just checking in the background here to make sure I am correct about my assumption. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Long story short, too late. If the serum does all the super transformation stuff that it seems to, then it would be anomalous, and therefore we would have to contain it. There are some who just think it's a story about a upper crust gentleman letting loose and doing bad things because they are so uptight most of the time. And in that case, it's not anomalous at all. It's just lowering your inhibitions. The potion could basically be wine. But if it were anomalous, we would also quite, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Yes, we could enlist a researcher like that. Chatter, Dr. L. Acknowledge what the moderator is telling you, or there will be consequences. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. Shy Guy is the crybaby to me. Yes, Desk informed me that's what you meant earlier. And now I forget what you said about it because it was a while since you said that. Oh yes, the question you had was, could it have been human before? And Des said there is, he thinks, a story on the wiki about 096 formerly being human. So that being the case, it could be the case in some canons. Critter's Corner, thank you for donating again. My little cousin asks, and I quote, if someone made an anomaly, would it count to be an SCP or does it have to exist naturally in the world? And I'll be honest, didn't think about that lol. Oh, we have definitely thought about that. Yeah. There are a lot of anomalies that are made by persons of interest, groups of interest. A lot of SCPs are manufactured. I mean, there's a whole Anderson Robotics lab making anomalous robots that are built by them. So yes, anomalies are often manufactured by people or entities. Therefore, they are also SCPs and anomalies. They don't count as natural. Yeah, that's a thing people talk about. Could SCP-387 mimic real-world events? Intern Plastic? I'm not sure what 387 is off the top of my head. Let me take a look. 387 mimic real-world events. The Living Legos? Well, I mean, I guess if they wanted to. Because they made a tank and a robot arm. So yeah, I guess if they wanted to enact iteration of a real-world event, they could, but that doesn't seem their MO. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. Can I get some nice folk music before I get in containment? It reminds me of better times and I'm scared, please. You know what? I can requisition you some folk tunes. I can give you an iPod that is not linked to the internet, but that has a downloaded playlist of your choosing. Please submit a playlist of the bands and songs that you would like, and we will have them loaded to that non-internet accessible iPod. SCP Spooky-J is actually so fucking funny, I can't. Well, yes, Junior Researcher Sally, if you are not the one dealing with it, then it is quite hilarious. But if you are in the site that it is haunting, it's not a good time. Intern He, why do you want to know my blood type? Are you Sam Reich of Dropout fame and the Game Changer streaming show? Where you just secretly have vials of your friend's blood for no reason? Sounds weird, man. Amber, welcome back. You made it to stream with 50 minutes left. 50 minutes left of stream. Oh, blood types are like zodiacs in Japan, actually. Oh, I do remember that. I do remember that they use blood type the same way we use zodiac signs. Interesting. Foxtrot, I will thank you, Doc. Some nice shanties, Irish folk, and Vicente Fernandez will do. Oh, and by the way, while Foxtrot, you're getting that playlist anyways, I'm going to insert, I don't know if you're familiar with the band Great Big Sea, but they're a band from Newfoundland that does a lot of folk and shanty kind of stuff that I think you'll really enjoy if you're not familiar with them. One of my favorite bands. Dr. Sherman, you never answered my question I sent you a month ago. Well, look at our chat, man. There's a lot of people here. It is hard to see all the questions. It's not unlikely I'm going to miss questions. Ah, Foxtrot, you are a Great Big Sea fan. Congratulations on your good taste. Na, 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 na. Dr. Sherman, did you know there's a Call of Duty SCP, kinda? Well, intern Poland Ball, you should tell me about this SCP you're talking about, because there are several SCPs about video games. There is that mobile task force that was made up of people who were trapped in a video game, or so they thought, but instead they were being teleported around the world and accidentally killing people. Oh, for all of you still on the blood type thing, I don't actually know my blood type, so can't help you. I've had enough transfusions and anomalous mismatches that who knows what my blood is made up of at this point. What's the weakest SCP? Well, intern Ace, I would suggest looking up SCP-1370, codename Pesterbot, because Pesterbot is a weakling, and it's always funny. All of my homies enjoy laughing at Pesterbot. In fact, there's a playlist of Pesterbot article and tales on this channel if you want to listen to me performing the Pesterbot stories, because bro sounds just like the saddest, tiniest, wimpiest Dalek. It's so funny. Release me, insects! I am Doom Master 1370, master of all doom. I shall be the herald of your destruction. At last I am unleashed upon this earth so deserving of destruction. All shall be rent within my pincers. All shall be trampled beneath my feet. I am Shivatron, despoiler of mirth. Oh yeah, we started telling it that there were super silly nicknames that were actually so scary. So yeah, it started calling itself Shivatron, despoiler of mirth, to be intimidating. So yes, please enjoy Pesterbot for its entertainment value. Critter's Corner, thank you for donating again. If Little Nightmares can pull people into alternate worlds through dreams, does that mean the SCP Foundation go to the dimension with the ritual? Like, can they pull them physically from the ferryman? Well, I'm unfamiliar with the Little Nightmares verse. Alternate worlds through dreams. So let me start with Little Nightmares dreams. The Nowhere is the universe in which the Little Nightmares series takes place, as a physical world only accessible through dreams. So, we have, through dimensional tampering, gone to several different dimensions and afterlives. So it's not impossible that we could find a way to get in there consistently and take stock of the situation, pull people out, maybe depending on the mechanics. I mean, if someone's dreaming and that takes them to the Nowhere, but then you pull them out while they're still sleeping in our world, what does that do? I want to find out. Get me some D-Class. Let's have a party. Dr. Sherman, I found the Call of Duty SCP. It's called 2360, codename Cog of Duty. SCP-2360, you say? Codename Cog of Duty. I was unfamiliar with this one. Set of 3 identical male humans who have been augmented internally with electronic systems of identical design. Their primary augmentation is a set of custom-built packs fused to the spinal column, which contain components of an Xbox 360 video game console, disassembled and arranged to fit mostly within the body. Certain parts have been modified to increase console longevity. Wrist-mounted prongs and controller outputs. Augmentation power through integration with the digestive system of the host. Plays Call of Duty. So they are 3 robots that want to play Call of Duty on their bodily installed Xboxes. Okay, interesting. Not the best cybernetic I would ask for, but I guess if you're a really, really hardcore gamer, I guess you might like that. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. My favorite song by Great Big C is the Chemical Workers song, As I Am a Factory Worker. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one, Chemical Workers song. Perhaps to make it to the end of stream in about 50 minutes. 40 minutes, I mean, 40 minutes. Perhaps there might be something to do with that at the end. How many times did the SCP Foundation encounter the Chaos Insurgency? Well, Intern Grapes, and by the way, I hope you're not checking into a lemonade stand. Intern Grapes, the Chaos Insurgency constantly raids our sites. So we've had more interactions with them than I care to have. Seriously, though, what do Thaumiel and Apollyon containment difficulties mean? Okay, containment class breakdown seminar. Here we go, from the top. Safe, very easy to contain, doesn't take any resources. Euclid, medium difficulty of containment, takes some resources. Keter, very difficult to contain, if not uncontainable. And if containable, requires a lot of resources and due diligence. Furthermore, Thaumiel are anomalies that help us to contain other anomalies. So Thaumiels contain other anomalies. We use these four in what we call the box metaphor. So safe, if you put it in a box, it stays. Euclid, if you put it in a box, it might get out. Keter, if you put it in a box, it will get out. And Thaumiel is the box itself. Now Apollyon is kind of, it's not very well liked in the SCP community because it just means big world-ending thing. And so it's both uncontainable and basically ends the world. Archon, on the other hand, means that something can be contained, but if we contain it, bad things will happen, so we don't contain it. Ticonderoga means that something can't be contained, but even if we could, bad things would happen, so it would be a bad idea. Those are your more esoteric containment classes. Cameron, if you look up SCP ACS Guide, there's a whole page with all of this on the wiki database for you to do research. The SCP ACS Guide is on the database. Foxpax & Co., thank you for donating again. Hear me out. Sabaton. I don't know what that means. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. I'd love to hear a version of the Chemical Worker song style to the SCP. I would love to hear a version of the Chemical Worker song style to the SCP. Oh yeah, it'd be cool. I mean, it is a version of that song, but it's also a parody where it's about working at the Foundation. I mean, the vibe's already pretty fit. Mm-hmm. Who is the Thaumiel SCP woman who says the sun is her brother and she hangs out in space pointing at threats to the Foundation? That is Salsasaur. Salsasaur's SCP designation number... SCP... Salsasaur. Come on. Salsasaur is SCP-179. Salsasaur. Salsasaur. This live is still going on. It's been an hour. Soda on pause. Today's a 3-hour stream that's ending in about 40 minutes. SCP-4521, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself some chicken tenders on your way past the commissary. Trees Treely, sorry I've been inactive in chat. I just moved out from my parents. I've been figuring out adulthood. I should be more active now. Hey, congratulations on getting your stuff together, man. You got to take that step and make that journey. Do your best. Take care of yourself. Be responsible. Get good sleep. Get good food. Exercise. Take care of yourself. Now that you're on your own. Sabaton are a 5-piece heavy metal band from Falun, Sweden, combining soaring power riffs with distinctive deep vocals. Alright, Foxpax, I am unfamiliar with Sabaton, as I'm sure my previous message dictated. How are you not tired of doing this after a whole decade? Intern Courier. I have been working in theater. I have been working in dance and art. I have been part of multiple creative communities. And SCP is kind of the most badass one of them all. I mean, thousands of authors, new stories daily. Things are always going on, but it's not manicured and forced into one little box like the Marvel and DCU are, where you have like flops because it falls off. If you find a bad story, it gets deleted, and then there's a new story right on your desk. There's always new material. And trust me, there is nothing that gets me more hype than artists making art. And so encouraging people to make art, showing off their stories, getting them more resources so they can make bigger and better things, there's nothing better in the world, man. I can never get tired of this. Plus, we got the Site 42 fam. I could never let you guys down. Our containment hazard assessment team is top notch. I just got to keep up with you guys' awesomeness. Dr. Cullivan, thank you for donating again. Boss, I don't know what to do anymore. At first the pen didn't seem to work, but then I blacked out. When I woke up, there were just different Celtic symbols on the page. Well, are you getting them translated? Are you getting information on what they mean? Because they have to mean something. If someone ever makes an SCP movie big enough to make it into theaters, I will freak out. I really want an SCP Containment Breach movie. So, I mean, right now, as a YouTube content creator and further content creator on other platforms, the goal is to amass an audience and amass a group that we can pull off what has been done before by Markiplier. Markiplier started with Choose Your Own Adventure, little videos on the internet and goofy action things. Went up to In Space with Markiplier, that thing's crazy. Did the Edge of Sleep series, that's crazy. The Iron Lung movie is coming out in theaters, that's crazy. But the path is in front of us. We just have to follow the path of our pioneers in front. And so yes, the SCP movie will be made, and it will either be made with us being the marketing arm and hyping up a team who's doing it, or if it takes long enough, we'll do it ourselves. But this is what we're doing here. Critter's Corner, thank you for donating again. Also, while sleeping, their brainwaves disappear like into nowhere. Physically, they are in the room, but they also aren't dead. After a while, they do disappear from reality with the ritual. Huh, interesting. I wonder if we can throw some D classes in and out and play with some, play with the timing. See exactly how long we can get away with being in there before fading, so to speak. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. What about Korb Lund? I am unfamiliar with Korb Lund. I do not know that particular artist, but Desk has sent me in the back channels a Wikipedia article to look at later. The only reason I know it's an artist is because I peeked that Wikipedia article. Raccoon Dog, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a molten lava cake on your way past the commissary. Hey Doc, how's Steve going? Got anything good yet? We're up to Steve's 20th birthday, but we had to take a couple days off because Steve caught a cold from one of the security staff. So we're making progress, but we need to let Steve rest as well. I recommend his song called Student Visas. Student Visas by Korb Lund. I'll have to look into that. Will Tunes, thank you for donating again. Do you and the team members look upon the SCPs like a child looks at zoo enclosures? Like, that one looks silly. Like friendly office chat. Oh yeah. I mean, we are obviously the utmost serious professionals, but sometimes you gotta blow off steam and make some jokes. I mean, look at the article for SCP-5320, for instance. SCP-5320, the Church of the Infinite Fish, the longest boy that just goes on forever, is about a whole SCP facility of people studying an anomaly and getting some inside jokes about it that actually got the ethics committee almost to come down on them because they didn't get the joke. Critter's Corner, thank you for donating again. You don't disappear from reality, sorry. It's more like you become a resident of the nowhere for better or worse. So is it like your brain stays in the nowhere and your body is now useless? I mean, that makes sense too. Wyvern Bravo, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself I guess a sheep on your way past the commissary if that's what you want to eat. Hey, Dr. Sherman, how would SCP-2399 compare to something like a Reaper from Mass Effect? Well, I would need to look into 2399 first. That is the giant red spot of Jupiter, yep. Red spot, So, comparing that to the Reaper from well, 2399 is a massive facility and weapon. Meanwhile, the Reapers aren't the Reapers like a race or something? A highly advanced race of synthetic organic starships. The Reapers reside in dark space, the vast, mostly starless place between galaxies. They hibernate there during 50,000 years at a time for returning. So I would not presume very much in the line of comparing that one facility to a big group of things like that. Is it just that they are both highly destructive and waiting to go off? Because, yeah, I guess you could compare them in that sense. Dr. Cullivan, thank you for donating again. One seems to be the Celtic knot for father and daughter. The other is a symbol for the Celtic god of animals, Cernos. But I don't know what it means. It's just those two symbols. Well, Cullivan, I would start by looking into your family tree. Because if you wrote/drew that with 067... you've probably got a bit of a situation going there. Love a good dramatic family history. Intern, no. Researcher Frazier, thank you for your first donation of today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a shepherd's pie on your way past the commissary. Went and worked on making an SCP, made an account on the official wiki. Nerds keep me from posting for feedback, just been repeat editing. Well, that's good, but what you should do is, if you want to practice getting feedback before you go to the wiki for feedback, check with some friends of yours. Friends who are SCP fans would be the next level up. Friends of yours who are decent writers would be another good person to check with. Fans of yours who are both SCP fans and writers would be even better. Friends of yours who are SCP authors would be top tier. Get people to look at it before posting for help and see what you can suss out as critique unofficially first. Critter's Corner, thank you for donating again. You are now a part of the Nowhere and fully transferred. I recommend the audio series Sounds of Nightmares by Bandai Namco. It's amazing. Also, the Little Nightmares wiki helps. You saw nothing. And I'm not part of the nowhere. I am currently exactly where I was in the Audiophonics lab before. I'm not going anywhere either. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. As a site director, what are your thoughts on AM? What are my thoughts on the Allied master computer that took over all of the world's weapons, destroyed all of humanity, except for a certain cadre of them that it decided to torture for the rest of eternity? Not a fan. And let's not create the torture nexus, please. The torment nexus does not need to be created. Desk. Unless you're joking about AM radio, in which case, very funny. I Have No Mouth and Most Scream is worth reading. It's rather short, but it's one of the most famous short sci-fi horror stories ever. Greg Fisher, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some candy corn on your way past the commissary. For your information, we here in Universe J23 managed to kill SCP-682 by Redacted with SCP-31456. You have over 31,000 anomalies in your universe? That's disgusting. Oh, you guys have to do so much paperwork. I mean, yeah, I've seen some universes kill 682 with some pretty esoteric means, but we haven't got those memes or haven't been able to use them yet, so when the time comes, hopefully we succeed. Dr. Cullivan, thank you for donating again. I don't know my family tree. I was adopted. That's it, I'm taking a crap ton of nestics until it either kills me or I remember. Well, if you were adopted as a youth, it's not likely that nestics will help you. You should do some genealogy, DNA testing, see if you get a ping, using our channels, which are much more accurate than the public-facing ones. See what you can find. Here. By the way, chat, 25 minutes left in stream. 25 minutes. Spampton, welcome to Site 42 Stat. Thank you for subscribing. Critter's Corner, thank you for donating again. Hypothetically, if someone made a spring lock and ended up FNAFing themselves in SCP Foundation becoming immortal with remnant/agony, I'd be more worried about the fact that it actually worked. Well, at least if it happened to one of us, we wouldn't just go around killing more children. I mean, not more children than we have to. I mean, the Warfins in D class, you know, the war orphans, the Warfins. I mean, we don't kill them on purpose, okay? It's just some anomalies are only affected by children. How can we test the child breaker without children, huh? You want to tell me? Spampton G. Spampton is not a researcher for the Foundation. Oh God, hey. Spampton G. Spampton is an intern at the Foundation. A white name. Wait until they join a membership. Then they can have a rank. Greg, thank you for donating again. How many SCPs you got and how do I get there? The Universal Anomalies Council must really love y'all, lucky bastards. Well, I don't like to talk to the UAC very often. Any of the UACs, they all usually suck. But in our universe, we are currently documenting SCP-9000 and various anomalies around that number. Therefore, we are somewhere between 9 and 10,000 anomalies. We are nowhere near 31,000. That's insane. Is it normal to feel like your brain is fuzzy while watching Site-42? Well, intern SK, that is sometimes going to happen when dealing with the memetic filters in certain individuals. So, see your site medic, they should be able to give you an attunement that clears that up. What SCP could you beat? Well, I'm a researcher. I am not a mobile task force agent or any sort of combatant. So, I'm not going up against SCPs in a fight in the first place. So, let's pick like 1370, Pesterbot. Yeah, I'll kick Pesterbot over, it's fine. What would happen if we put all the SCPs in a Smash Battle-like tournament? Who is winning? So, the easy answer is SCP-3812 because it is literally a part of every pataphysical level at once, which means that it is also the author of everything. But thankfully, because of its mental illness and schizophrenia, it has a unlikelihood to use its powers unless provoked. But if anything provokes, then it's going to get crushed by 3812's abilities. If you saw the death battle between Simone, the Digger, and Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, I would imagine that they are the only kind of entities that could defeat SCP-3812, because while ascending narrative levels the same way Simone the Digger does, Simone can harness and has the determination to fight on the narrative levels, while 3812 is hampered by its unwillingness to fight and mental illness. So, very few fictional characters can defeat SCP-3812. Luckily, it doesn't want to fight. What is your favorite SCP at Site-42, Dr. Sherman? Well, of the anomalies that, I guess, are stationed at Site-42, the Gym Look, SCP-3302, is quite harmless and entertaining to use on people as a prank. So, that's what I'm going to go with. No danger. Desk, you are not an SCP. You are an uncatalogued anomaly. You don't count for that question. Dr. Sherman, what are your thoughts on our Lord SCP-3125? What is with you in the fifth this week? Do we need to re-educate you? Do you need amnestic therapy to get out of this cult? Wait, no, 3125 isn't fifth this, it's anti-memetics. Anti-memetics? Do we have an anti-memetics division? I don't remember an anti-memetics division. Oh, it is fifth this. Okay, I was right in the first place. Either way, cut that out. Cut out this cultinizing. Staff, as a time check, we are currently at 18 minutes left in stream. 18 minutes. What about using SCP-096 to beat the hell out of SCP-4666? So, the problem with that is very clearly that SCP-4666, the Yule Man, can teleport anywhere in the world above that latitude line. Meaning if 096, even if 4666 saw the picture and activated 096, it could be on one side of the world, and when 096 got close, it could teleport to the far side of the world. 096 is fast, but it's not light speed. Frickin' 466 could dodge that thing for the rest of its life, and it would just run, 096 would just be running terror through every village between it and 4666, which I don't like. Cameron, thank you for donating again. Dr. Knight Memo. Dr. Sherman, Precog Anomaly Division head here. Someone messed up. If people you know change their name to Jeff en masse, administer them class F amnestics and send them to us. Don't ask why. Jeff with a J, huh? Interesting. Average Deltarune fan would put a Spamton plush in the femur breaker if allowed. Yeah, they really do like torturing that little Blorbo. That's for sure. Doctor, do you know about SCP-3198? Do you have an answer on how they are doing? Well, I can look into them in the database and see what I find. Meanwhile, Aaron, I always tell my favorite SCPs at the end of stream, which is in 14 minutes. So if you want to hear my favorite SCPs, you can wait 14 minutes. You can donate to make me cut the line, or you can just go to yesterday's stream and watch the end of that stream because I tell you them there too. SCP-3198 Miniature Task Force is the code name. Collective designation for the Mobile Task Force, formerly known as Lambda 9, codename Big Fucking Guns. The task force was created specifically to contain Keter-level objects that required high damage output ordnance in the event of a containment breach. They had a lot of soldiers, they had a lot of weapons. Communication has so far not been possible. The voices of SCP-3198 members have become extremely high-pitched, audible as squeaking, with some words occasionally being discernible. So they are 1/64th of their original height and mass. They have been Honey, I Shrunk the Kidses. Tiny little task force. Object class, adorable. Yeah, they seem to be doing unhappy in their situation, which I would be as well. Raccoon Dog, thank you for donating again. Hey Doc, would a small SCP guessing game be alright? If you get it right, I'll gift a few memberships. I'm not against this. A little test. I had a test a while ago trying to name as many SCPs as I could. And that took like 10 minutes. That was a lot of numbers I had to say. Radius, welcome to Level 1 Researchership. We appreciate your membership and your service here at Site 42. Da-da. Checking something real quick. Okay, coming back to the chat. Somebody asked about SCP-7000, which the answer to SCP-7000 is it is a particularly unlucky person. Secondarily, inimical means harmful, basically. And so, obstructive or harmful. And so that is what it is meant by secondary class. It is its original object class, SCP-7000, codename Keter, or containment class Keter, but it is also inimical. Yep, Junior Researcher Sally, this is a Weddell question, a Dr. William Wallace Weddell question. You watch Inside Job 2. Well, we don't have a high-budget SCP animated series yet, so Inside Job is what we're going to have to cope with until we get a full SCP series, one way or another. Radius, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as your newly minted membership. Make sure to grab yourself a churro on your way past the commissary. If I was a deadly sin, I'd be greed. What about you? Well, I am a Leo born in the year of the tiger, so if it's not pride, I don't know what it is. Cameron Fraser, thank you for donating again. Dr. Jeff Memo. Following on my last precog division will be on sabbatical while my entire personality is reconstructed. Blame Jeff MacArthur, Dr. Jeff out. Okay, so Dr. Knight has become Dr. Jeff. Let us, yes, shut down and quarantine the entire precog division. Raccoon Dog, thank you for donating again and quizzing the doctor. I'm thinking of an anomaly that's blanketed in a sheet of white, one who puts its victims under plight. Sometimes it roams free, who could it be? I have an SCP for this, hold on. Hold on. Am I right about this one? Yep, you're talking about SCP-6096. Codename The Guest. We just recently talked about that one on stream, I think, which is why it was in my memory. If you could classify Siren Head, what would you classify it? Intern Ryan Lost Heart. On this channel is a video called Siren Head is not an SCP, but if it were, you should check that out because I've got all that information right there for you. Raccoon Dog. Wow. 10 memberships in reward for that. Well, thank you for your generosity to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. And if you, a chatter, got one of those gifted memberships, make sure to thank Raccoon Dog for their generosity. Ryan Lost Heart, by the way, that is a whole series with different anomalies as well, so you can check those out. There's also a master compilation video of all of them if you just want to hit one and done and listen for a while. Pen trick tutorial when? Well, right now I could do it real quick. I'm not in a bad mood about it. Hold the pen between your fingers. Rotate it side to side. Then, rotate it side to side and grab it with the next finger. Then rotate it side, catch. Rotate over, rotate over, rotate under, over, over, under. Reverse the direction of rotation. Practice with your palm up so that gravity helps you keep the pen in your hand. It makes it easier. Practice it with your palm down to work harder because gravity's trying to steal the pen. Blah. And if you just practice casually with your hand a little bit of momentum of sway, that helps too. All right, Site 42 staff, time check. We are in the last 5 minutes of stream. 5 minutes of stream. What are the fifths is what we're asking. So SCP fifths, let me get the summary. So fifithism is a fashionable religious cult in the SCP universe, very similar to Scientology. They do have magic. They do all sorts of stuff. There's different sects, just like there are with the Sarkics and the Church of the Broken God. But check out their Fifthist hub for more details. And there are all sorts of anomalies in containment, different tales regarding Fifthist. They're all trying to transcend reality to meet with the giant cosmic starfish. Ryan Lost Heart. I want you to Google SCP Bismarck, because you have the ability to figure out the answer of your questions faster than I do, because you know your questions before asking me. You have the power here. Giant cosmic starfish versus the loopfish. Who wins? Well, that fight can never happen because there is no loopfish. But our long Lord and Savior, the fish that just goes on forever, SCP-5320, would crush that cosmic starfish. Every time you call it a loopfish, Radiger gets closer to your location. Be careful. Dark Phoenix, thank you for gifting a Site 42 membership to our Containment Hazard Assessment staff. Make sure that you guys thank Dark Phoenix for your membership if you are the one who got it. And everyone cheer Dark Phoenix's generosity, as well as Raccoon Dogs. The more memberships we have, the closer we are to the goals of the pink hair dyeing affair and the cat-made waifu dimension stream. May we find the head, or the tail, Amber, or the tail. Now let's get drunk at work. Is the cat-made waifu dimension an SCP? It is not. It is an off-canon. It is a non-canon, off-wiki meme of the Site42 community. Yes, if you are not legally allowed to drink alcohol, you may drink sody pop in worship of the fish that just goes on forever. Dat1, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a Chica Cherry Cola on your way past the commissary. How's 096 doing? Well, it's in containment, crying, and doing not much else, so I guess it's fine. What if Peanut just randomly decides to move even if you don't blink? Well, Intern Cardinal, as far as we've done research, 173 hasn't broken the rules of its anomaly to my knowledge. Do you have evidence of such a criminal offense? Because that would make life a lot more difficult if it could just move. Intern DeBell, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Grab yourself a batch of fish and chips on your way past the commissary. Guess who's back? It's my department from last time. Oh, I'm glad your department reappeared. Congratulations. I hate it when departments disappear. Clipsy, hey, I'm late, so sorry, time check. Well, coincidentally, stream is over by 1 minute. And so it's about time for me to start the outro. But before I do, Lil Guy, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some pita bread and hummus on your way past the commissary. Doctor, what's your response to the claims that the interdimensional vending machine has been selling hazardous items to staff? Well, duh, they keep ordering hazardous items like idiots. If they would stop, we wouldn't have this problem. Idiots, I say. So while everyone keeps trying to guess Desk's favorite SCP, in order to get Desk to donate a membership to the stream, I must begin today's outro. So as always, at the end of stream, as is a tradition around these parts, as we have done for 6 months of the daily streak so far, I tell you my favorite SCPs. But of course, I'm not going to tell you that the SCPs I wrote are my favorite. That would be cheating. Of course, I love the SCP documents I wrote. And if you want to read those documents, you can go to the Sherm's author page in Site42 Hub on the SCP Wiki. There you can see the SCPs I personally wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects to. And don't tell anyone I told you this, but there's also some links there. Links. The next tab over from those SCPs that people are very, very interested in finding, but they just don't look hard enough. You know, I'm disappointed. They're not adventurous enough. They're not intrepid enough to find their way to those links, but I bet you are. I bet you are. You'll get the links. You know what you're looking for. And while you're there, you can become a Site42 Patreon patron or YouTube channel member if you want to donate to us monthly. You can do a Ko-Fi donation or YouTube Super Chat if you want to donate to us once at a time. Either way, we appreciate you helping us to keep the lights on around these parts. And if you are part of the broke gang, trust me, we're an arts community. Starving artists is a trope for a reason. But because of your engagement with Site42 on YouTube, you're watching the streams and chatting, you're watching the videos and commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing, all that YouTube business, you are a valuable and honored member of Mobile Task Force Site42, codenamed Signal Boosters. And because of your efforts, we are able to game the YouTube algorithm to bring us more fans or prospective fans, people who will become SCP fans whether they like it or not. And that is how we, Site42, continue to support the SCP Wiki and its authors, artists, animators, game devs, filmmakers, merch makers, etc. We want bigger SCP projects, and because of the Creative Commons, no one's going to touch it. So we're going to have to do it ourselves. By growing Site42, by supporting smaller projects. When I tell you guys there's a new show or something you have to look at, and it's a indie animation on YouTube, you got to be like a witch's flying monkeys. Go, comment, like, share, become Patreon patrons of them so they get more support. They go, oh, this SCP thing is pretty good actually. Maybe I will make a bigger project next time. It's how we do it. It's how it's done. So thank you, Sci42, for your service. Now, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on that last one, it is a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043-008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, 5320, 8980. Content warning on the last one, it's a rough read. Site42 staff, welcome to the next phase of our daily live streams, which will be very similar to the previous phase, except the streak will continue to go up. The line will continue to go up. Site42 and its staff will continue to go up, and the SCP community will continue to go up. So Site42 staff, I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. And if you're still looking for something to occupy your time in the meantime, our moderator desk will be streaming on Twitch immediately as this stream ends. You can go to the desk SCP on Twitch to visit our moderator and the desk stream. See you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Secure, contain, protect. And it's go, boys, go. They'll time your every breath. And every day you're in this place, you're 2 days nearer death. But you go. Well, a process man am I, and I'm telling you no lie. I work and breathe among the fumes that trail across the sky. There's thunder all around me, and there's poison in the air. There's a lousy smell that smacks of hell and dust all in me hair. And it's go, boys, go. They'll time your every breath. And every day you're in this place, you're 2 days nearer death. But you go. The credit song is the Chemical Workers song. In this case, by the Great Big Sea. See you next time, Site42 fam.